attach it to something?
Hmm?
You attach it to something?
Yeah, we add it to the rest of the video that we do.
Campbell's Bay Cement.
Whenever you're ready.
So we're in Shawville tonight, Sunday, February the 2nd, a private residence, and I'm sitting here with the client, Lynn Beauchamp. So Lynn, I just have a couple of quick questions to ask you before we get started. Can you give us an idea of what type of claims you have with regards to this property? I know it's not that old. The house itself dates back to 1970, so that's quite recent.
Correct. We purchased the house about 18 months ago, and we took possession on November 1st time frame. Once we first moved to the house, it was an older model home with our plans of remodeling. And from the first few days that we were here, we started to experience just odd little things where the front door would open, although it was locked by the inside. We came back after a second and third day we were here. We came back just from the store, and the front door was wide open. And we figured, well, maybe somebody had a key. So we had all the locks changed, and the doors were in good shape, so we didn't want to change the doors. But it's happened repeatedly over the course of the last 18 months, and it's always the front door. So it's the one that always opens randomly for no reason. It's not because it's windy. It just every now and then this is someone's trying to get in or get out.
Yeah.
We've had a few experiences too of the doorbell. So the doorbell would ring randomly, and we couldn't understand why. And it even happened on a day where I was sitting having tea with a girlfriend of mine from Elmer, and we were both sitting there and thought maybe her husbands were playing a prank on us. And we went to check the doors, both doors, nobody was there, and both our husbands were at the back of the property in the barn. So we found that kind of odd, and it's happened repeatedly. And we have had someone check the electrical of the doorbell to ensure for security, make sure there was no hazards.
Yeah.
And everything came out clean, everything was good. And although the doors have been changed, the locks, and all of the equipment around the front door has been changed, the door still opens. Even in the winter now, we have not cleaned the deck. And so we would have been able to see footsteps as someone was coming to open the door. And it's a coated door, and there are no footsteps or anything. So it's been kind of an
Definitely odd. Exactly.
very much so. So we kind of figured just something must have been going on. We did check with previous property owners. We are the second owners of the home.
Okay.
And we do know it was an elderly couple who did live here. They did not pass away in the house. But we're here quite a few years before having to leave the house. So we thought maybe something was going on.
Okay. And in the garage?
In the garage were two incidents of seeing a shadow or someone walking by. It was very descriptive to me, and at first I thought maybe it was someone helping out my husband in the yard or something, but since we don't know anybody in the area, I figured maybe it was someone that was being introduced to him. And that's happened twice, and on both occasions that person seems to be an elderly man wearing a short sleeve shirt, and it's the same shirt twice.
Okay.
And the second time it would have been a bit odd. It could have been a colder temperature and would not be someone wearing a short sleeve shirt. So those have been the experiences that we've had. And like I said, once again, can't explain them, and not really was a firm believer in any of this before this started, and now questioning why would a door it's locked by the inside would randomly open all of a sudden, and unable to explain it.
Definitely. So I guess you're excited that Bytown Paranormal is here tonight.
I certainly am. I'm looking
look
forward to
further
seeing the
into it.
results. Yes, this is
And
quite
we're lucky that we have the journalist from the Pontiac Journal,
Yes.
which is a big paper from the area of Shawville, Scott Campbell, with us. So that's going to be very neat.
very interesting, and also interesting to know Dave lives up the street.
Exactly, exactly. Well, I'm looking forward to see what we can come up with tonight. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
That's me again. So we have Sandra, Will, Scott, I knew that, sorry, and Cindy, Beauchamp residence, basement, where James felt the older lady. Do you want to start, or do you want me to start? Okay.
So if there's anyone here with us now, could you please give us some sort of sign that you're here? Maybe by making a knocking sound?
You can hear the talking upstairs.
Yeah. And that was them thumping upstairs. And my stomach growling.
So just so you know, we mean no disrespect at all. There are several pieces of equipment on the counter in front of me. I won't go through all of them, but usually, I mean, if you approach them, a lot of them will light up. There's a little recorder right there with a little light on it. If you approach it, it'll be able to pick up on any messages you wish to leave, even though we may not hear you right away. We'll be able to pick up on what you're wanting to let us know later on. So please feel free to leave any messages. Now I did hear that Mrs. Barnaby used to be down here quite a bit. Apparently during the summer months she would get too hot, and she had a bed installed in the area where the counter is with all of the equipment. So if you are here with us at all, Mrs. Barnaby, if you can hear us, is that true?
Okay.
I will ask, just to let you know before you start, I will ask a couple of questions in French,
That's fine.
because we're in Quebec, and
Yeah.
Mr. Barnaby, I think, spoke both languages, so.
Yeah. So, Sandra, Will, Scott, Cindy, basement, bedroom.
So if there's anyone here with us in this room, could you please give us a sign? Again, it can be a knocking sign, knock something over on the piece of furniture in front of me, touch one of us, pull our hair gently.
That was me.
That was Will's foot cracking.
So we keep mentioning the name Barnaby. Maybe you have nothing to do with Barnaby's. Maybe that's not even your name. So could you please give us your name, whatever it may be?
I can hear them talking upstairs.
Alors on sait que la maison La maison appartenait à la famille Barnabé. Et on voulait savoir si la personne qui est ici... Bon, si premièrement, il y a quelqu'un ici avec nous ce soir ici. Questions you'd like to ask Scott at all? No?
Or now. Hard to do.
Mr. or Mrs. Barnaby, if you're here, what was it? The two older children were not very nice to them?
Suzanne and Roger, apparently, yeah.
They were not very nice to you? That was my wrist. Why was that? If you both are here, why do you stay here? John?
Maybe somebody should go up and tell him. Because that's...
I'm not doing it.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
I'll say it in a diplomatic... I'm going to go and tell him because I'll say it in a diplomatic fashion.
Hey, you, shut your pie hole.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so if I don't come back down, it's because you ripped me to shreds, okay? There you go.
Do you need a flash? And me moving. So we've just moved into the bigger space of the basement.
Okay, now I've noticed that in the basement there are a lot of antiques. The bench right next to Will was a bench that was purchased, I think, last year, if I remember correctly. There's also a hutch in the corner behind Cindy. I know that those date back to the early, I think it's early 1900s. Now maybe if there is someone here or something here with us, it has nothing to do with the house at all. Maybe it's to one of the antiques you're attached to. I know that there's also a, what was it, a sewing table?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A sewing table upstairs in the TV room. We'll go up there later. It is also very, very old.
It was Lynn's mother's?
I think so, yeah,
Yeah.
Lynn's mother. So are you here maybe because you're actually attached to one of these antiques? And if so, which one? Which piece? And if there's anyone here from the Barnaby family with us tonight. Apparently, your daughter, I guess Suzanne, is the neighbor. Do you go and visit her too? Do you try and make yourself known at her house? And if yes, what type of things do you do to get her attention? I heard that Suzanne and I guess it's Roger, the Barnaby family's son, I guess, one of the sons. Both of them weren't too nice to Mr. Barnaby. Sorry for that if that happened. Can you tell us what type of things they would have done to be mean to you? So if it's Mr. Barnaby that's here or anybody else from the Barnaby family that knows about the situation, what type of mean things would they have done?
Why does Suzanne not like to come down in the basement here? Someone's snoozing upstairs. But I'm not sure what that was. But it was them upstairs. Dog walking.
And from the Barnaby family, I know there are 5 children involved. There's Suzanne, Roger, Henry who comes to visit quite often here, who's a friend of the Beauchamps. And you also had, I guess there were twin daughters. One I know is Estelle. If there's anybody here with us now, could you give me the name of the second twin girl? Is it Esther or Edith? Scott, do you have anything you want to ask?
Not sure.
Anything that comes to mind.
Yeah.
It can be something, you know.
It can be, what's your favorite color? It can be,
Oh, really?
yeah.
It's just to hear your voice, so if there is something that's attracted to your energy, it'll respond to you.
Okay. I like that. Give me a minute.
Okay.
Do you want to go ahead?
So if there's anyone here with us here in this room, could you please give us some sort of sign? Maybe a knocking noise of some sort? Now the door, just behind Cindy, that's the actual front door of the house. And it's been known to open and unlock itself on its own accord. And we just want to know if there is someone here. Are you the one who's doing that? Was it just to attract attention?
The dog is making noises. It's okay.
So when this house was first built, what would this room have been used for? Was it a living room? As it is right now, or a TV room, I guess you could call it, or was it used as something else? And behind Scott there is an antique sewing table. that used to belong to Lynn Beauchamp's grandmother. Is that it, Lynn? Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe if you're related to Lynn Beauchamp, maybe you're a family member and you're attached to that specific piece of furniture. If there is anything or anyone here in the house, do you do anything else other than ring the doorbell, open the front door, and pass through the garage? Are there any other things that you try to do to attract the present owner's attention? And there's also a very important part of the family cook-up, which is the family dog. He's very, very cute. Do you like her? Do you ever play with her? Are you glad that we came to spend some time with you this evening? And it's one of your last opportunities to leave a message. If there's